Hey, this is Seagrove, and if you're new to the channel and you want to get better at Pokemon, subscribe. That's you. Alright, I'm here with three chill dudes, and we're mostly sober, and we're going to be talking about Portland Regional Championships. Joe doesn't think that's funny because he's underage. Alright, cut. We got your Twitters there. Phin, go ahead and start.
Me?
Yes. Introduce
sorry,
yourself. I didn't even say anything. Introduce yourself.
I am Finnegan Lynch. I'm the owner of CutterTap.com. I like Expanded a lot, and I'm going to Portland Regionals.
Okay, I'm changing the title, and we're not restarting. So, Joe, go ahead.
I'm Joe Rudiger from Chicago. I play Pokemon. I'm also not the only underage one here.
Probably true. I'm just old, so I assume everybody else is. All right, Isaiah, go ahead.
My name's Isaiah Williams. I'm on DDG. I am also underage because I'm 20, but I'm almost there.
In America.
I also really like Expanded, and I'm going to Portland, so
okay.
Excited for that.
So, it's been a while since you've seen me. I'm Jeremiah Schmutz. I don't play Pokemon anymore, so I'm too busy. Give me a month or two, and I'll be back at it. When I do play it standard, so I have no clue what's going on in Expanded. So that's why I brought these guys on. So I'm going to start off asking some questions, and hopefully you guys can fill in for anything I miss, because I have zero clue. So, last time I thought about Expanded, they're banning a bunch of stuff. So we assume there are going to be a lot of changes. But let's start with the decks that did well in Portland, or what was it, Virginia. Dead or Alive, Whale Lord. Joe.
So dead.
Why is it dead?
Because there's so many counters to it. Like, just one garbage collection ruins the whole deck.
What does garbage collection do?
It's the base. It's a Trubbish. So if you can just slap that into any deck, and then you auto win Whaler. There you go.
All right, busted. Whale Lord's dead. The whale's dead. Moby Dick.
I second that.
Yeah,
all right.
I totally agree. There's so many things right now that can beat it pretty easily.
Good.
Executor.
Busted.
Right, that's one.
Yeah.
The one. Okay. Well, no, we'll come back to that. To that Executor. Secondly, oh, you can play both exec. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Secondly, Buzzrock. Buzzrock. Phin. Dead or alive?
Definitely alive. Probably going to be in the top 3, probably top 2 most played decks at the event. I wouldn't play it, but it's definitely very alive in the meta.
Okay. Great. Zoroark. I know, Isaiah, you were one of the... Were you one of the Zoroark originators?
Yes, and so is this man. So is Phin.
Okay.
So
yeah, boy.
Talk to us about Zoroark. Dead or alive?
So it's definitely alive. It's probably going to be the most popular deck.
Which version? Or, I mean, all of them, I guess.
So yeah, that's a good question. Like, I think Zoroark overall will have the most played, but there'll be a few different versions. There's Zorogarb. I think that's very effective. You play like Trash Lance and Psychic, and just like consistency. And then there's the Zoro Garb with eggs, which is a little more fragile, but way more powerful and way more explosive. And so I think that'll be very popular. Like, based off of what I've been talking to people about and what my Twitch chat has said, it seems like people are liking the Toxin version, like with bursting balloons and stuff, just because it's cool to play bursting balloons, you know? And like, yeah, it's essentially the same thing as last year's Zoro eggs with Hex, except the only difference is that Quaking Punch can stop the lock and Field Blower gets out of the lock. So it adds for some interesting gameplay, I think.
Okay. Trevenant. Actually, I should talk about Trevenant. I'm going to talk about Trevenant. I did pretty well with it. So I think Trevenant is fine, but I think people are going to say I'm dumb for this. Maybe you guys will agree that I'm dumb for this, but I think Trevenant is going to lose to good Buzzrock players now. Because I played a couple, especially Xander, And when I played Xander, I was like, oh, that's how you're supposed to play this matchup. And he did a lot of jet punching. And I won one best of 3. I won the second best of 3 against him, but I got to go first. And I lost a best of 3. I went 1-1 against him, and I went 1-1 against Isaac. And both of them, I won the ones I went first. And now going first just isn't going to be the same advantage as it was. And so I think Buzzrock is actually going to be slightly unfavored when... I think that's going to be a matchup that swings significantly based on the skill of the players. But at high skill levels, I think Buzzrock will beat Trev. And then Zoroark will still be a problem. And I think you drop in a Porter because I think Zoroark isn't going to be perceived quite as strong. At least I thought that, but I don't really know. And Isaiah's saying the opposite, so maybe not. I don't think Wally's the end of the world for it against most decks, but I do think it matters a lot against both Zoroark and Buzzrock. That's all I got to say about that. All right. What do you guys think about that? Trevenant, I think, is going to be solid, but not as... I think it was pretty strong for Virginia. I don't think it's as strong anymore.
I always thought Trevenant was a terrible deck. Because, like...
Haters gonna
like,
hate.
the only thing that made it good was Wally. Like, actually. The only thing that made it good was Wally because you could cheese your opponent turn 1. And now that since that element's gone, like, you're just going to lose to good players. Because the difference, like, seeing a good player playing against Trevenant and, like, a bad player playing against Trevenant is you'll see the good player, like, stagger their bench. You'll see them hold on to their energies. You'll see them literally just pass against the deck. Like, Trevenant's basically a Phin deck because it does 30 damage a turn. Like, it doesn't really do much, and you can just play around it in so many ways. Like, I had... my friend Mike play against me. He's playing Trev. I was playing Zoroark, and last night just beat him 5 games in a row with Zoroark. You know, I sat there with Zoroark in my active and just went pass, and it just can't do anything. Like Trevenant's a very bad deck. I would not play it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of the same experience in the matchup as Joe has, like about what he described. Like you can kind of just as a Zoroark player, you can just like have one Zoroark in play and like not overextend your resources and just like guaranteed have 8 DC in the game because you go like 4 DC, special charge, dousing for special charge, and like because the only way Trevenant actually beats you is by getting rid of all of your energy. Like that's their only win condition. As long as you don't like, yeah, or like as long as you don't, I guess yeah, in a Porter you can put it all in one. But if maybe if they like create a board state that only has Zoroarks, it doesn't work as well. But
it does.
But like I feel like Zoroark is a deck that can do that against Trevenant because like you open a Zorua, you look at your hand and you're like pass, and like it doesn't even matter because then you evolve to Zoroark, trade, pass, trade, and then knock out. Yeah, so
yeah,
I think the matchup is fine for Zoroark, like really fine.
And then there's Klefki as well, so you can get Garbotoxin while you're item locked. So that's not good for Trev. I agree with everything they said. I just want to add that.
Yeah, that is a very true point.
That's
like,
interesting.
On your special charge turn, you just like Klefki Garb.
And if you play 2 Klefkis, you go one turn, you go Wonderlock, and then the next turn you go Wonderlock again, and then on that second turn you Stretcher for a Klefki, and then next turn Wonderlock, Stretcher for another Klefki, next turn Dowsing, Stretcher for Klefki.
All right.
Yeah, busted.
That is busted.
That's true.
Okay. I think Trevenant is still a good play if you are not sure of what to play. I think it's a good deck. We lost Isaiah, I think. All right.
Oh.
Well, just your
Just
video.
I can still hear you guys.
Just your face.
That's so weird. My
I-
Skype like just closed out. Like I don't know why. The application just closed down. I didn't even click anything.
A Trev player hacked you.
Yep, it was
Yeah,
me.
man, they already know.
It was me. All right. Then let's see. What else made top 8 at Virginia? I feel like it was just like those 4.
I don't remember.
That seems right. It's changed.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's changing. So Malamar is getting... When people talk about Malamar, Bronzong, Electrike, Malamar definitely seems to be getting the most hype of those 3. Is Malamar the best of those 3 in Expanded? Obviously.
Well, I personally think that all 3 of those are not that powerful and expanded.
Okay.
Just because, like, you have to remember we still have parallel and expanded, and all of those decks get crushed by Parallel just
Parallel
intrinsically.
Zoroark just beats
And
it.
then and then besides the fact that this is a Toxin meta, so like playing decks that are heavily reliant on abilities that just don't have an obvious answer to Toxin or the cards that are played along with Toxin just seems like a bad idea. So like I wouldn't want to play a 9-round expanded tournament with a deck where I'm like, if I don't hit Field Blower, then I'm done for, you know.
Sure.
At least like Zoroark decks, like they have intrinsic draw power, so they can create hands that have Field Blower, so it's like totally okay.
And then there's Sudowoodo too.
Yeah, Pseudo
Those decks.
a natural counter.
My answer would be whatever one of those variants can deal with having the least number of the stage 1 in play. So like, I don't know if one variant also runs elixirs or beast ring or something like that. That's the only thing that I could see having a chance.
Okay.
I think Malamar has Chimecho, which could be cool. Like, if you played a Malamar variant, you could Chimecho early just to like keep them from setting up, and so you can set up your board state and like have the energy in play to win the game already. But the problem is like then again there's Ranger in a lot of decks, especially Zoroark decks, because it's another natural counter in the meta that like is unfortunate. So yeah, I would steer clear of them.
Joe, what do you think of Drampa Garb?
Still a good deck. I don't really think it. Well, no, I didn't really lose anything from the bans. I actually don't think it lost anything. Yeah, I think it just got better.
Okay.
And yeah, I think there's a few cards you could play in it now, like a few more cards, but I'm not really sure I haven't indulged into it that much.
Is the Garbodor version with spread better, like a Necrozma, or is it better with Drampa? Anybody can answer that.
Definitely Drampa.
Yeah, I agree. Drampa's definitely been testing the best.
Okay. Is that because it's so good against Zoroark?
Yeah, it's still pretty effective. Like, you could literally just play with the same 60 as like what the Drampa lists were being played last year, and I think it would be an amazing deck still.
Okay.
I actually like Garb Box better because I can fit in one Parallel and Dowsing and Drampa, and I just like have a lot of the stuff in Sudowoodo, and I just feel like I have all the stuff that Drampa Garb uses to counter Zoroark anyway, but I also just have better matchups against a lot of the field because Drampa Garb, if I'm being completely honest, I feel like Drampa Garb doesn't actually beat a whole lot of decks. I feel like it just beats Zoroark and like a couple other things, but when you go into a blind meta and there's just a bunch of stuff out there, I feel like you can just beat bad players playing weird decks, but if you play against like good players using an archetype that you might not be expecting, that you can just get run over pretty easily. Like the only thing if you just look at the inherent advantages that deck has, it's just like, yeah, Righteous Edge and Garbotoxin, and I'm going to end and like use Energy Drive. And I guess you have Trash Lanch, but I don't know. It's just not an inherently powerful deck. I feel like it's only good when you look at the meta. Yeah.
Okay. Isaiah, what do you think of Baby Buzz Shrine decks?
Oh, I think they're pretty strong actually. I just feel like that expanded. So like they're not like the best deck, but they're a good deck, I think. Because the problem is that expanded has so many tricks it can do, like so many outs, and then there's so many different decks that like you can't just play a shrine deck and be able to expect that like what you have in the deck and like you just being able to sledge every turn and stuff like that, like how it works in standard, is enough to actually win the game. Also, there's just more energy control and hand control, like Toxin N. Like that would just crush a shrine deck if it was done at the right time, I feel like. And so they can just get sort of outplayed out of the game. Like, of course, that's how you win any game, is by outplaying people. But yeah, I think that it's a strong deck, but it's probably not my top pick going into Portland.
Okay. Any other takes on Buzz Shrine?
I think it's a pretty bad deck. I just think it loses to Toxin N. That's about it. Like just any deck that goes Toxin N, you have to draw out of it like every time because it'll Toxin you like for the whole game. So, and I just don't think your deck's that strong.
Phin, what do you think about Greninja?
I think it sucks. A lot of people are teching Giratina right now because everybody, I feel like, is expecting a lot of Trev because it's like in those polls on Hey Fonte and stuff, it seems like it's really popular with a lot of people. So I feel like that alone is going to be a big problem for the deck. And then when you combine that with the fact that like Garbotoxin is in, at least like half of the top tier archetypes, that seems bad for it too. And then there's also just the fact that Greninja sucks in general, like no matter what's being played. Um,
Big
but I don't
facts.
know. If you can get really lucky, you can do well with it, I guess. I definitely don't think it's that good though.
Okay.
I agree with Finn. And then Rangers in the format, and I feel like that's a natural counter to it as well.
Okay.
I actually feel like Greninja's pretty good. Because Giratina Promo doesn't really do anything to the deck when you're running Silent Lab. And Garbatoxin isn't really that big of a deal when you're running three to four blowers because of Dowsing Machine. So I think Greninja actually might have placed in the meta, but it does lose the Buzzwole, which has still always been the problem with the deck. You just can't really handle Jet Punch that well. So
And it loses to Ranger.
I don't know about that.
You keep mentioning Ranger. Is Ranger in the deck because of Toad? Because that's why it's generally in the format. I'm sorry, because of Toad. 'Cause that's why it's generally been in here. Or is there another reason?
I think that okay, so maybe I'm just being overprotected, like overcautious, but I feel like Ranger is a very like strong play going into like a brand new expanded meta, just because like if there's ever a time for someone to play Toad Tina, it's when like no one knows what's really going on, and Ranger is really just like anti Toad Tina, it's anti Greninja, it's anti Noivern, like
Yeah.
just any kind one of those things that you could play against.
Noivern
really
sounds
helps
fun.
it. Yeah.
But you have Drampa though. I feel like Drampa just sort of bodies Toad. I guess Toad did okay in Virginia actually.
Wait, what matchup are we talking about?
I don't know. I'm just talking in general.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm looking at it from a Zoroark perspective. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Like, yeah, that's just like
Okay.
where my head is.
Sure. All right. Is Toad any good?
No.
I don't think so.
Cool. Isaiah, what do you think about Night March?
Ooh, I like Night March a lot actually. So
Yeah.
I've been there's two versions that I've been testing that I like. One of them was inspired by what Finn said on that Six Prizes podcast with the order pads. I think that's actually crazy because I was trying to figure out how to make that work, and it really feels nice. And then another version is one that plays heavy Marshadow GX and Seismitoad. So like against Zoroark decks, you just Quaking Punch the Zorua.
For
And
knockout.
Yeah, and then you are like
Savage.
whatever is active, like you just Quaking Punch them turn one, and then they have to like do something to respond to no items, and then you just Night March it for 200 damage the next turn, and like start the game off with like it's so powerful.
That sounds good.
So yeah, that's been testing really well too. It's just like it works on turn one, and then your opponent like on game two, or in game one it works, but in game two your opponent like drops the Trubbish Psychic Energy and is like, all right, Quaking Punch me now. Let's see what happens, you know. But yeah, I think that's a strong deck.
Okay.
You should play it. You shouldn't play it with Zorks anymore. You should just play like consistent like shamans and items and things like that. Because Zorks are just already countered in the meta, and it's like you don't have puzzles, so it's not as useful. And yeah.
Okay.
That's a fact.
Obviously, I'm not asking you all to reveal any spice that you have for the tournament, but besides that, what's the best deck that I haven't mentioned yet? Because like I said, I'm not up to date on Expanded. Finn, why don't you start? What's the best deck I haven't mentioned yet?
I don't know. My top two picks are Night March and Zoroark, so and I think in that order right now. I guess Toad, Milotic, Marshadow is really good at beating specific decks.
Oh, is that the Milotic? Is that thing like you discard it and you attach energies or something like that?
Yeah, the energy gray Smilotic, so it knocks itself out, and then you get
Okay.
3 basics from your discard pile and put them on Marshadow, and you battle Compressor Dialga, and then you're like Timeless GX for one shot on Zoroark, and then the next turn you're like Compressor Dustmane, and then you do 220, so you get like 4 prizes in essentially one turn.
That's disgusting.
Yeah,
I
and then
like
you have Diancie too, so you like 2-shot Zoroarks with Quaking Punch.
Busted.
Yeah,
All right,
it's
I'm
pretty.
into it. I'm into it.
Yeah.
Isaiah, go ahead.
We haven't talked about Keldeo Blastoise at all.
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
it's like kind of powerful, but it's not like anything crazy. But it is something I think is worth mentioning.
That's the other reason why Trev isn't going to be as good, I think. Now that it can't get turn 1 item lock, like if they get Blastoise up, you lose.
Right.
Yep.
And like they have to get the energies down too. But
Yeah, but they just throw them on a Keldeo and they one-shot everything. Like,
yeah, that's very true.
busted.
I
Okay.
tested Stoice a lot. I don't think Stoice actually has any potential right now because it just can't beat any of the Garb decks, and that's like just a huge problem.
Mm-hmm.
There's
You-
like a
What?
there's a pretty cheesy list with heavy Articuno and like Victini to reflip. And so you just really like go in with that, but it's not amazing.
You gotta play
It's
Muscle
good,
Band.
but not amazing.
Yeah. Joe, what's the best deck we haven't mentioned?
There aren't really many left, but I think Stable Guard is probably the best thing.
Oh
to
yeah.
mention.
Okay.
Yeah.
That has a very... I can't remember if it has a really good or a really bad matchup with Drampa Garb. I think it has a really good matchup with Drampa Garb. Is that correct?
I don't know. I think it's pretty 50-50 because like you just go in every turn with Sycamore. You just can't be a bitch in the matchup. Honestly, you just like Sycamore every turn and just trash a Lanch. Like that's what you're supposed to do against mill decks like Durant. Like you Sycamore every turn, just keep trash lanching. Yeah, there you go.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
Like I'd say like an equally skilled Sable Garb and Drampa player, like Sable Garb would probably take it.
I don't know
I wa-
because like you can like end them and then garbage collection back to Super Rod. So like you can potentially make them miss Trick Shovel.
Yeah.
And then like you can keep the trick. And then it's weird, bro. I don't know.
I want to
You
say
only have 9 energy.
That doesn't matter.
I want to say
like-
someone beat like Azul and Igor and Jimmy with Sable Garb at a tournament not too long ago. But maybe those were their only losses. I can't remember.
I think me and Azul lost to Caleb, the guy that won in Utah when he was playing Sable
That's
Guard.
what it was.
Yeah, I got very close to beating him, Gabe, once.
You should have Sycamore, bro.
I did, dude. It just,
Yeah.
I got down to 1 prize, and then he just got me in the perfect log.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you guys think about... People have talked about Yveltal coming back. Is that a possibility?
Wait, what?
Yveltal?
Yeah.
Yveltal?
Like,
Ooh.
Evil Ball.
Yeah.
Why Cyclone?
Uh,
No?
probably not.
All right.
Like, I just can't think of any decks that it beats. Like, you probably lose the Buzzwole. It's like, you need a lot of energies to one-shot them while they're one-shotting you with just 3. You're going to get one-shot by Sledgehammer. So I think Buzzwole's a bad matchup. And then Garb decks seem like a bad matchup because you have to dump so many items. Unless, like, you're playing... Dude, I don't even know. I'm lost.
Okay. Sounds good.
I don't think that's...
Yeah, like almost everything can kill a Lele, and Yveltal is just a Lele. Like,
That's true. Plus 20 later. With Dark
Yeah,
Patch.
that's bad. Bad deck.
Okay. What about Darkrai?
No.
Like, Night Spirit?
I don't know.
you're talking about the speed one with Dark Patch and Elixir and stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know if that beats either.
Okay.
Well, like
Nice.
those kind of decks, they're like, you know, powerful and fast, but they're so linear, and it's a GX deck, so it's like, what do you actually beat? The only thing that you beat is an opponent who like is drawing poorly, but like almost every single deck in the meta can be like, these are like the cards and paths I need to take to be able to just take 6 prizes against this deck because I know exactly what you're gonna do. And so like with decent draws, like I think Darkrai can like always be beat. I think the same thing about decks like Turtles, like Volcanion, Turtonator.
I was about to bring that up.
And, yeah.
There's always one.
Or like even the Ray deck, the speed Ray deck with the elixirs and stuff. Like that's probably the best one out of all of the like speed one-shot GX decks, but still like I just think it's too linear.
Yeah, they have Marshadow and stuff. And with people playing VS Seeker, with people playing cutting support accounts for VS Seeker, that might be good. Marshadow might be more effective and expanded. Cool. I don't think I have anything else. Does anybody?
Donphan.
Donphan. Okay. Anybody have anything else? We don't. Do we really? Okay. Donphan.
Oh, I was just we didn't talk about it.
Okay. That was purposeful, but is it any good?
Well, like it has Shrine and Diancie now, and that's different. I don't know. I think it has potential, but maybe it's just terrible.
Donphan Wob.
Yeah, like you can one-shot Drampas and Zoroarks pretty easily. Like you have Choice Strong on a Donphan, you one-shot a Drampa. You have
Choice Strong,
Diancie, Choice. Yeah, or Diancie. Well, I just assume you can't use Diancie because you're under Toxin Lock. But against Zoroark, I think you need Choice Band Strong Diancie to one-shot Zoroark. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, or you have the Shrines. So that's pretty good. And if Night March comes back, Donphan totally counters Night March. I mean, those are if all that theory is true, like if you actually do beat those 3 decks, then I definitely think it has some potential. But I don't know. I haven't actually tested it. I just have theoried about it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got one more. Go ahead.
I was gonna say Donphan actually doesn't sound that bad when he puts it like that.
Yeah,
when you put it like that. Okay.
I forgot about Diancie and Shrine. Like,
yeah. It actually is kind of a game changer for Donphan.
Does Donphan do 40 or 60 base?
40.
40, yeah.
Okay.
So we're looking at, that's easy 110.
And then the other thing is, it doesn't really get hurt very much by ability block like a lot of other decks do. So when you're playing against those Garbodor decks that are going to be really popular, you're like, okay, I lose Diancie, but I don't really care otherwise. You don't really play a ton of items either. You can totally mitigate your item use, so Trash Lanch isn't a big deal, but even if they are one-shotting you, you only give up 1 prize. So yeah, I think it has a lot going for it.
Best deck and format confirmed.
Yeah.
All right. One more question, but let's do shout-outs, and then we'll do that. Phin, why don't you start?
Check out my website, cuttertap.com. Posted like 5 or 6 pieces of new content over the last 3 or 4 days, so definitely check that out for a bunch of lists. Hit me up for coaching after Portland Regionals because I'm booked up until then. Shout out to Isaiah and all my other friends, and you, Seagrove.
We made it.
Oh, and my team. Sorry, I forgot my sponsor too. Pro Play Games and Ultra Pro. Shout out to them as well. Yeah,
absolutely. Joe.
Shout out to the Dark Patch and Someone's PC. I coach on both their sites, or you can message me directly through any of my social medias. And I do stream sometimes, so follow me at Joe Rudiger. Follow me at Twitter, Joe Rudiger, and yeah, that's about it.
Joe, do you write for Someone's PC now?
I do not.
Okay.
I just coach.
Cool. Isaiah.
So make sure to follow me on Twitch at the Isaiah W. I stream frequently. So let's see what else. Check me out on Six Prizes. I'll be releasing an article Thursday. So shout out to them. I'm also coaching with the Dark Patch. So that's new. So if you want to do coaching, check me or go look there, or you can message me. And shout out to all my friends who helped me test, including Phin. I got to give the re-shout out. And then shout out to Blairland. You guys know who you are. And yeah.
Cool. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. And oh yeah, my question. This is mainly for Phin. You mentioned Executor. I trust you meant blockade.
Yeah, I've never heard somebody pronounce it like that, but yeah.
What is it?
Executor.
Yeah,
that's like
Executor. Executor.
Also, shout out to Joey. I just realized I shouted out Isaiah.
I was just like, wow.
It was not intentional.
2 videos ago, I left out Xander altogether when we were doing shoutouts. It's like, all right, and skip Xander. Go ahead. Cool.
What about the card though?
I don't know. You mentioned it as a thing. Is that just in Zoroark?
Well, yeah, definitely in Zoroark. So like that was me and Isaiah's thing at Anaheim. Like,
that's where you got second.
Yeah, I got second at Anaheim, and Isaiah got second at Dallas. Both of it were like the second place Zoroark's boys. But anyway, I think I think a lot of people are still gonna play it, just because like it was in that list. And if you're a Wailord player and you ever go up against it, you literally just auto lose. Like there's nothing you can do to beat Executor with Wailord. So that was pretty much my only point about it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very true. Like Blockade, they're done for. That's like half their deck they can't play.
Busted Executor. I can't say it. All right. Thanks again. Peace out.